Hello children, welcome to today's video session of Standard 9 Geography, Man and Environment. In today's session we are going to learn the various components of environment, various economic activities, human settlement patterns. Shall we move to the session?
Unit 6 Man and Environment. Environment is a set of relationship between man and nature. Man has survived through the ages, dwelling within his surrounding called the environment. The word environment is derived from the French word environ, means encircled or surrounded. Environment includes both living and non-living components. Man and environment. Early man depended entirely on nature for food, clothing and shelter. Man has enjoyed a dominant position over the other living organisms around him because of his erect posture, hands and intelligence. From the Paleolithic period to the Neolithic period, man has invented and developed the wheel, fire, tools and patterns of agriculture and housing to his comfort, which led him to improve the standard of living, making himself technologically advanced. Thus, modern man modified the environment where he multiplied in numbers to increase population and has always extended its territories, leading to the exploitation of natural resources. Do you know the Stockholm Conference in 1972 declared man as both a creator and molder of his environment? The Earth Summit, formerly known as the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, that is UNCED, was held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. Let's see the classification of environment. Environment is generally classified as natural environment, human environment and man-made environment. The components in natural environment is land, air, water, nature. The components in human environment is individual, family, community, religion, education, economic, political. The components in man-made environment is road, bridge, parks, buildings, industries and mountains. Let's see what is natural environment. Earlier we have learned about the natural environment such as lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere and biosphere. In this chapter, we will study about the human and man-made components in detailed manner. Human environment. Human environment is defined as the interaction between man as an individual with his family, occupation and society. It is also related to various cultural aspects such as education, religion, economics and politics. Man-made environment. Man-made environment has been created by man himself for the purpose of fulfilling his needs and to make his life more convenient and easy. For example, building, transport, park, industry, monuments, etc. To bring an equilibrium between man and the environment, man has to study the distribution of population, availability of resources, development in technology, alternate means of fulfilling the increasing demand created by the growing population and other man-made features. Population. Can you imagine a world without human beings? Human beings are important to develop the economy and society. The Latin word populus means people. Population is the total number of people living together in a particular place at a given point of time. What is demography? An ancient Greek demos mean people and graphis means the study of measurement. So demography is the statistical study of human population. Population growth. It is easy to add but difficult to maintain. Population is a dynamic phenomenon where the number, distribution, compositions are constantly changing. Human population increases as babies are born and decreases as people die. For most of human history, births have only slightly exceeded death every year. As a result, human population grows slowly. About the time of Industrial Revolution, it began to increase rapidly. Natural increase of population is the difference between the birth rate and death rate. In fact, population is always increasing, but only in very rare cases it may decrease through natural or man-made disasters such as famine, landslides, earthquakes, tsunami, epidemic, extreme weather conditions and wars. Population change refers to the increase or decrease in the population of an area influenced by number of births, death and migration. The population of the world doubled from 500 million in 1650 to 1000 million in 1850. The projected population for 2025 and 2050 is about 8 billion and 9 billion respectively. Census. Census is an official enumeration of population carried out periodically. It records information about the characteristics of population such as age, sex, literacy and occupation. Different countries of the world conduct census every 5 to 10 years as recommended by the United Nations. The first known census was undertaken nearly 6,000 years ago by the Babylonians in 3800 BC. Denmark was the first country in the modern world to conduct a census. In India, the first census was carried out in the year 1872. Censuses have been conducted regularly every 10th year since 1981. The Indian census is the most comprehensive source of demographic, social and economic data. Population increases when there are more births and immigration. It decreases where there are more death and immigration. Do you know the Black Death is estimated to have killed 30 to 60% of Europe's total population during the 14th century. The dominant explanations for Black Death is attributed distribution of population. Population distribution refers to the way in which people are spread out across the Earth's surface. The world population is not uniformly distributed owing to the following factors, that is physical factor, historical factor, economic factor, physical factor. Physical factor include temperature, rainfall, soil, relief, water, natural vegetation, distribution of minerals and availability of energy resources. Historical factors. Regions with historical importance, war and constant innovation fall under historical factors responsible for population distribution. Economic factor. Educational institutions, employment opportunity, manufacturing industries, luxury amenities, trade and commerce and other facilities encourage dense population in an area. Do you know the World Population Day is observed on 11 July every year? It seeks to raise awareness of global population issues. The United Nations Development Programme started celebrating this event from the year 1989. Density of population. Density of population refers to the number of people living per square kilometer. An area is said to be sparsely populated when it is a large area with less number of people. Similarly, smaller the area with a large number of people is said to be densely populated. Density of population is calculated as population density equal to total population divided by total land area. The world population density is divided into three main groups. Areas of high density, above 50 people per square kilometer, East Asia, South Asia, Northwest Europe and Eastern North America. Areas of moderate density, 10 to 50 people per square kilometer, the subtropical regions like Angola, Congo, Nigeria and Zambia in Africa. Areas of low density, that is less than 10 people per square kilometer, Central Africa, Western Australia, Northern Russia, Canada, etc. Overpopulation and underpopulation. Overpopulation is a condition when a country has more people than its resources to sustain. Underpopulation is a condition where there are too few people to develop the economic potential of nation fully. Do you know India has an official population policy implemented in 1952. India was the first country to announce such a policy. The main objective of this policy was to slow down the rate of population growth through promotion of various birth control measures. Human settlements. A settlement can be described as any temporary or permanent unit area where people live, work, and lead an organized life. It may be a city, town, village, or other agglomeration of buildings. During the early days, man preferred tree branches, caves, pits, or even rock cut as his shelter. As days passed by, man slowly learned art of domesticating animals and cultivating food crops. The evolution of farming took place along four major river banks, that is the Nile, Indus, Swamp, Hope, Euphrates, Tigris. Man built huts and mud houses. Slowly settlement came into existence. A settlement generally consists of a cluster of houses, place of worship, and a place of burial. Later, small settlements developed into villages. Several villages together formed a town. Bigger towns developed into cities. Settlements were formed in different shapes, size, and locations. Classification of settlements. On the basis of occupation, settlements may be classified as rural and urban settlements. Rural settlement. Any settlement where most of the people are engaged in primary activities like agriculture, forestry, mining, and fishery is known as a rural settlement. Most of the world's settlements are rural. They are mostly stable and permanent. The most important and unique feature of rural settlement is the vast, open space with green, pollution-free environment. Pattern of rural settlement. Rectangular pattern. Rectangular pattern of settlements are found in plain areas or valleys. The roads are rectangular and cut each other at right angles. Linear pattern. In a linear pattern, the houses are located along a road, railway line, and along the edges of the river valley or along a levee. Circular or semicircular pattern. The pattern of settlement that is found around the lakes, ponds, and sea coast are called circular or semicircular pattern. Star-like pattern. Star-shaped settlements developed in places where metalled and unmetalled road converged. In the star-shaped settlement, houses are spread out along the sides of roads in all directions. Triangular pattern. Triangular pattern of rural settlement generally develop at the confluence of rivers. T-shaped, Y-shaped, cross-shaped or cruciform settlements. T-shaped settlements develop at tri-junctions of the road like T, while Y-shaped settlement emerge as a place where two roads converge with the third one. Cruciform settlement developed on the crossroads which extend in all four directions. Nebulous pattern. The arrangement of roads is almost circular, which ends at the central location or nucleus of the settlement around the house of the main landlord of the village or around the mosque, temple or church. Urban settlement. Urban is a term related to cities and towns where people are primarily engaged in non-agricultural activities such as secondary, tertiary and quaternary activities. The common characteristics features of an urban unit is that they are compact, congested and liable to a large number of population. They comprise of mostly man-made structures that fulfill the requirement of a society's administrative, cultural, residential and religious functions. The factors responsible for urbanizations are better employment opportunities, suitable cultivation for business, education, transport, etc. Classification of urban settlements. Urban centers are classified as towns, cities, metropolitan cities, megacities, conurbation, etc., depending on the size and service available and functions rendered to it. So from the picture we can see the places, that is conurbation, city, large town, small town, village, hamlet and isolated place. Town. A town is generally larger than a village but smaller than a city. It has a population of less than 1 lakh. Example, Arakonam near Chennai. Cities. Cities are much larger than towns and have a greater number of economic functions. The population in cities are estimated to be more than 1 lakh. Example, Coimbatore. Metropolitan cities. Cities accommodating population between 10 lakhs and 50 lakhs are metropolitan cities. Example, Madurai. Megacities. Cities with more than 50 lakhs populations are called megacities. Example, Greater Chennai. Conurbation. A conurbation is a region comprising of a number of cities, large towns and other urban areas. Example, Delhi. Do you know? Damascus is widely believed to be the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world, dating back to at least 11,000 years. Tokyo is the world's largest city with the Greater Tokyo area, housing about 38 million inhabitants. According to the Quality of Living ranking by consultancy Mercer in 2016, the city offering the best quality of life was Vienna, with Zurich falling second. Economic activities. Economic activities are those efforts or actions that involve production, distribution and consumption of commodities and services at all levels within a region. Types of economic activity: primary activity, secondary activity, tertiary activity, quaternary activity, quinary activity. Primary activities pertain to the extraction of raw material from the earth's surface. For example, food gathering, hunting, lumbering, fishing, cattle rearing, mining and agriculture. Secondary activities transform raw material into finished goods. For example, iron and steel industry, automobile manufacturing, etc. Tertiary activities. Activities which by themselves do not produce goods but support the process of production are called tertiary activities. For example, transport, communication, banking, storage and trade. Quaternary activities. The activities related to research and development as well as knowledge are called quaternary activities. For example, services like consultation, education and banking. Quinary activities. The activities that focus on the creation, rearrangement and interpretation of new and existing ideas are called quinary activities. It includes the highest level of decision making in a society or economy. Example, senior business executives, scientists and policy makers in the government. Environmental issues. Environment is the basic life support system that provides air, water, food and land to all living organisms. But human beings degrade the environment through rapid industrialization. Some of the environmental issues are deforestation, pollution such as air, water, noise, etc., urbanization, fracking, and water and waste disposal. Deforestation. Deforestation is the cutting down of trees permanently by the people to clear forests in order to make the land available for other uses. Effects of deforestation. Deforestation results in many effects like flood and drought, loss of soil fertility, air pollution, extinction of species, global warming, spread of deserts, depletions of water resources, melting of ice caps and glaciers, rise in sea level and depletion of ozone layer. The United Nations Conference on Environment and Development, by name Environment Earth Summit Conference, held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil on June 1992, concluded that all member countries should reduce their emissions of carbon dioxide, methane and other greenhouse gases thought to be responsible for global warming. Conservation of forests. Conservation of forests can be done through the regulation of cutting trees, control over forest fire, through regular monitoring and controlling the movement of the people. Forest fire can be prevented. Proper use of forest products. We depend on forests for our survival, from the air we breathe to the wood we use. Besides providing habitats for animals and livelihoods for humans, forest products are one of the most essential things in our daily life. Therefore, we must use forest products properly. Sustainable development. In 1987, the Brundtland Commission cited the definition of sustainability. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. For sustainable development to be achieved, it is crucial to harmonize three core elements: economic growth, social aspects, and environmental protection. These elements are interconnected and are crucial for the well-being of individual and society. To achieve true sustainability, we need to balance the economic, social, and environmental factors of sustainability in equal harmony. So, from the picture, we can see the economic growth, social aspect, environmental protection. Social sustainability. The ability of social systems such as a country, family, or organization to function at a defined level of social well-being and harmony is called social sustainability. Problems like war, endemic poverty, widespread injustice, and low education rates are symptoms of a system in socially unsustainable. The balancing capacity of a government in maintaining peaceful existence towards other countries and at the same time providing the requirement of its citizens without affecting the environment creates social sustainability. Economic sustainability. The people on earth consume far more than what is their fair share. The economic sustainability is successfully implemented through strong public distribution system. Economic sustainability ensures that our economic growth maintains a healthy balance with the ecosystem. Environmental sustainability. Environmental sustainability is the ability of the environment to support a defined level of environmental quality and natural resource extraction rates forever to mankind. Unnecessary disturbance to the environment should be avoided whenever possible to sustain our environment. Why is sustainability important? The excessive usage of natural and man-made resources deplete its availability for the future generation. We need to look after our planet, our resources and our people to ensure that we can hand over our planet to our children to live in true sustainability. Hence, conservation and awareness are the two important terms that bring sustainability to our living. When we use the word sustainability, it means to maintain it forever. This is because our actions have a lasting effect on the environment and we should protect it for our future generation. How to help the value of sustainability grow among students? Lifestyle, fixing, recycle, needs and wants are the key factors. Lifestyle. Your lifestyle is your choice and you can change it. For example, when you go to the grocery store, make sure you always carry a cloth bag. This way, the shopkeeper does not have to give you many plastic bags. Fixing. If your watch or a toy or a camera is broken or not working, try fixing it fixed before you buy yourself a new one. Recycle. Try and be conscious about the things around you. When you consume something, see if you can reuse it later. Needs and wants. Before you buy something, ask yourself the question, do I need this or do I want it? Remember, sustainability begins with you. So act locally and think globally. Let's move on to recap and evaluation part.